The Nintendo Switch Online membership is a service where you can play Nintendo Switch games online with others and a collection of NES and Super NES games, all for the price of $20 a year. This is seen as a great deal and a nice buy. The expansion pack is seen as a joke.
Hello fellow gamers of the interweb, it's your friendly old pal Like here. And whenever you say the words Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack in the same sentence, you expect to hear a raging mob in the background.
The expansion.
Right on time.
Yeah, so the expansion pack was not taken well when it was first announced. You only got a few N64 and Genesis games for $30 extra than the normal membership, which was an insane amount of money for what they were providing. But times have changed. Nintendo has added a few more things to the expansion pack to make it more worth your while. So I'd like to take another look back and see, is the expansion pack worth it now, or is it still way too expensive? First, I'd like to clear up a common misconception people have about the expansion pack. It is not $50. The expansion pack is $30. The expansion pack is an expansion pack onto the normal Nintendo Switch Online membership, and the normal membership is $20. This is just expanding onto that by adding $30. When you say that all of this is worth $50 instead of $30, it makes it look way more expensive than it should be, because this is $30, this is $20, and together they're $50. Starting with the DLC that is added onto the expansion pack, it comes with free DLC for Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, and Splatoon 2. And the DLC has no problems. There's not performance issues, online connection issues, or any of that. The only thing that I would say is bad about the DLC is that after you get the expansion pack, you don't own the DLC. You would have to get the expansion pack again to get the DLC again. So if you wanted to play the Animal Crossing DLC next year, you'd have to buy the expansion pack again. But if you're someone who likes one experience with video games and then you usually don't go back, then you're saving $60 by buying the expansion pack, which is a pretty good deal. But there's another problem with this DLC. If you don't own one of the games that the DLC is for, like if you don't own Splatoon or Mario Kart, then the DLC has absolutely no purpose to you. So it's just a waste of money by then. Another problem with the DLC is that when the expansion pass and all the online services for the Switch inevitably get shut down, all of your DLC just vanishes. You'll have two options. Rather you just lose all of your DLC, or you'll have to buy the DLC again. But let's say you have all three games, and you don't have DLC for any of them. That means that in 2 years and 4 months, you'll be losing money by getting the expansion pack rather than just paying for each of these games as DLC. So the DLC is not a bad deal, but not an excellent deal either. But the free DLC isn't why you get the expansion pass, it's for the emulators. Starting with the Sega Genesis, oh Jesus, what is this lineup? Yeah, so the Sega Genesis did not have many games to work with. For me, the only games I would play is Castlevania and Sonic 2, and the rest I barely care about. 6 of the 7 games of the Sega Genesis I would not play, which is quite a lot when you're paying $30. This segment was very short, but to be honest, I do not have much to say about it, because what is there to say? There is Sonic 2, Castlevania, and then all of these things that no one knows about. Sir, some people know about some of these things, but like, do you really want to play Starfy? Do you really want to play Dolphin Game? No, you don't. Okay, moving on to good console now. The Nintendo 64 Emulator is the only reason why you would get the expansion pack. Why would you ever want to get Sega Genesis? And also, if you're doing it for the DLC, just buy them separately. It's a way better deal. Anyways, N64 Emulator. Now to start with the games. This is the place that the Sega Genesis was lacking. But, like, oh my goodness, this is actually a pretty good selection of games. Sure, they are probably missing a few, but like, this is a pretty good selection if you were to pick a few from the Nintendo 64. At the time of writing this, there are 14 games to the collection. But by the time this gets uploaded, there will be 15, with Kirby and the Crystal Shards coming to the service. Good news, I would play every game on the service except for Sin and Punishment plus Winback. The only game that comes close is Dr. Mario 64, but that just depends on what I'd like more, the NES version or the 64 version. Take that, Genesis, the N64 actually has good games. So with all the games that they added and all the quality in those games, you'd expect this to be a slam dunk. But, you know, this is Nintendo we're talking about. They'll find a way to mess it up somehow, like how the emulation quality is worse than a free download on your computer. Okay, like, compare this. This scene from Ocarina of Time, which came out on the original N64 in 1996. Yes, 1996. Almost 3 decades ago. And then compare it to this, which came out, like, last year. Even though the quality might be below average, it's still $2 a game a year. So, it's fine that the quality is worse. Maybe. Well, if you even don't care about that, there's a video about a person hitting a tree in Paper Mario and it crashing their entire game and all of their save data. Not just the save data that was previously lost before he saved. No, the entire game deleted itself. He had to replay the entire game because he hit a tree. I personally got an N64 for $120 a few months ago, so it would be 4 years until I would make my money back. And even so, that's just the N64. I still have to buy the games, the extra controllers, rumble packs, so on and so forth. But I like game preservation and owning physical copies of games, so I don't care really about the price at that point. But I think it's time for a little game. I call it Deal or No Deal, Nintendo Online Expansion Pack Edition, where I go over the positives and negatives of the expansion pack to see if it's right for you. Let's start with the first positive. Popular N64 games for an affordable price. An N64 costs a lot of money, so why not turn towards emulation? Emulation is a very affordable price to play all these N64 games. They might not be in the best quality, but they are still definitely affordable and definitely still worth your while if you can't buy the actual N64. The downside to this, as discussed before, is that the emulation quality is mediocre at best and definitely not the place you want to go to if you're looking for the best quality of N64. Pro, free DLC for Splatoon 2, Animal Crossing, and Mario Kart. But the con that comes with that is that they will only be available as long as you have the expansion pack. So if you want to play the DLC again, you'd rather have to buy them separately or buy the expansion pack again. Another pro is that you get all the N64 games in the easiest way possible, on the same console that you already play all of your games, and you don't have to scrounge through any boxes to find some N64 games. And the loading times are very quick, and also there's fast forwarding, rerunning, and suspend points for automatic saves. But for the negatives, since the games aren't physical, the save files you spend so much time on will disappear once Nintendo shuts down the online service. And that's another episode of Deal or No Deal, Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack Edition. Thanks for watching, everybody. So hopefully this video laid out if you should get the expansion pack or not. But I'll lay it out like this. If you're a collector who likes physical games and game preservation and would like to come back to your save files in a few years, this is not the thing for you. But if you won't care about your save files in a few years, don't care about the quality too much, and just want to play some good old classic N64 games before moving on to greener fields, then I feel like this is a great deal for you. I hope this helped show if this was a good service for you or not. If this was helpful, like the video, and here are some other videos that you may like. If so, maybe even consider subscribing. Hope you all have a good day.